right? So if because of some reason if your image is not appear, right, then it will display the alter text. Whenever you click on that text, right, it will open the next web page, right, which you specified with the use of href attribute, right? So this is the image as a hyperlink, right? Now next is, if you want to open the web page which is a part of some web document, then there must be some way to specify it, right? So if we want to uh, mention the target element by including the id attribute, right, which can be used to identify it with href attribute, right? So how to use the id
મેમ
attribute?
સ્ક્રીન
Huh?
સ્ટક થઈ ગયેલી છે.
Huh. Okay, now whenever you want to use the id attribute to specify the specific target element, right, then simply, right, with the use of some header tag, right, you describe the id like this: h2 id equals to, in double quotes, id name. Suppose our id name is a, right, double quotes over, and h2 tag over, right? Then a href. Now instead of url here, you have to write down hash, then your id name. Id name is suppose a, right? So, and save this file. So whenever you open this file in browser, right, it will looks like same, but you specify the target url name with the use of id instead of directly the url name, right? So this is when your target is within the same document, right? So this is about the links in html, right? Simple. To provide the link in html, you have to use the anchor tag a, and attribute is href. Href attribute is used to specify the target url, right? And another attribute, okay, and another way to provide the link is with the use of images. To provide the images as a hyperlink, you have to use the image tag with the use of anchor tag, right? So write down the anchor tag, and after the anchor tag, write down the image tag. Image src equals to, write down the source of or source of the image which you want to specify as a link, right? If your image is in the same folder, then directly write down the image name dot extension in double quotes. If your image is not in the same document, then write down the whole path, right? You can use the alter attribute also, alt equals to, in double quotes write down the text which you want to uh, show instead of the picture. If your picture is unable to display on the browser because of some reason, right, then you can use the alter tag as a hyperlink, right. Whenever you click on the picture, right, it will open the web page which you specified with the use of href attribute, right. So this is about the link in html, right. So uses of links in html is one link can be logically related to documents together using the links in the web page, right. Use of the link enhance the readability of the web page, right. And whenever you want to navigate within the uh, web pages, then it is possible to it is possible with the use of hyperlinks, right. So this is about the hyperlinks in html. Next is frames in html, right. હાઇપરલિંકમાં કોઈને ડાઉટ છે? ઇઝી છે. ઇમેજ ટેગ તો ઓલરેડી આપણે એકવાર કર્યું છે, રાઈટ, પ્રેક્ટિકલમાં. Just to create that image as a hyperlink, you have to use the anchor tag a, right, or either you can make simple text also as a hyperlink with the use of anchor tag a, right. હાઇપરલિંકમાં ડાઉટ છે કોઈને?
No, ma'am.
Okay, now next is frames in html, right. So html frames allow us to present document in multiple views, right. So for example, suppose within the same window one frame can display a company information, right, and the second frame can be navigate menu, and the third frame may display selected document that can be scrolled through or replaced by the navigating in the second frame. It means in within a one web page, if we want to display multiple information but in partition, right, then html will provide this facility with the use of frames, right. Various frames can be set in one browser window, right, and to set the frames in browser window we have to use the frame set tag. Frame set tag is used to set the frames within the one browser window, right. Frame set space attribute is calls, right, equals to, in double quotes write down the partition value, right, 150 column, suppose we write down 150 column star in double quotes over tag over, right. So it will partition your web browser into column wise. So it will partition your web browser in vertically, right, and partition size is, first partition is of 150 pixel and remaining pixels will be goes into second frame of the web browser, right. So that it will create total two frame of size. Frame one size is 150 pixel vertically, right, and remaining pixel will be for the frame 2, right. Same way, if you want to create frames horizontally, then attribute is frame set rows equals to, suppose 120 comma star, right. So it will create two frames. First frame size is 120 pixels, so width of that size is 120, and remaining frame, that is frame number 2 size, is remaining pixel of your windows, right. So it will divide the windows into two rows. First row size is 120 pixel and lower frame size is remaining portion of the window, right. Similarly, we can also specify the frame set in percentage form also, right. So suppose we want to divide our our window horizontally, right. So frame set rows equals to in double quotes, total is of 100%, right? So 30% and remaining second frame size is suppose 70%. So in this way we can divide our window into two frame. First frame window size is 30% horizontally and second frame size is of 70%. Same way we can uh, divide the rows and columns in any number of frames, right? Give we can divide our window in any number of rows and columns, right? So for that you have to write down like this: frame set rows equals to suppose 20%, then 30%. So 20, that will be 50, and suppose third frame is of 50%, right? So this is the horizontal partition of the frame. Now, if you want to uh, provide the number of columns also, then cols is equals to suppose 40%, comma, remaining. So it will divide your web browser or web window, browser's window into total 6 frame, right? It will divide your web browser window into total 6 frame, right? 3 rows and 2 columns, right? 2 columns and 3 rows. So total it will create 6 frames, right? Now in every layout frame, we can load the desired HTML page by using the frame SRC, right? So in every frame, right, we can load the desired HTML page, or we can say we can open desired HTML page in every frame set using the frame SRC attribute, right? So how we use frame SRC to open desired web page in each and every uh, frame, right? So for that you have to write down frame SRC tag like this: frame SRC equals to, in double quotes, write down the HTML page which you want to open in the particular frame, right? And so another attribute of frame SRC is name, right? So uh, it name means frame name. Let's suppose you want to give the name to the particular frame, right? So suppose we give the name to this frame is frame 1, right? So in frame 1 it will open which HTML page? 1.html. Same way for all the frames you can uh, provide the desired HTML page which you want to open in that particular frame, right? So there are main total 2 attributes of frame set tag, that is cols and rows, right? And attributes of frame tag is frame SRC, right? Then frame name, then another is frame border, right? Value of frame border attribute is either 0 or 1, right? Where value 1 specifies that frame is displayed within the border and 0 indicates there is no border, right? Border ની કોઈ size કે એવું કશું નથી, just frame border attribute here. Frame border attribute value is either 1 or 0, right? 0 means no border and 1 is border, right? Then one attribute is name, that specify the name of the frame, right? Now another attribute of frame tag is no size. Another attribute of frame tag is no size, right? No size attribute, because of this no size attribute, right, we cannot resize the પર્ટિક્યુલર ફ્રેમ. સો જે પણ ફ્રેમને તમે નો સાઇઝ એટ્રીબ્યુટ આપ્યો છે એ ફ્રેમને તમે રિસાઇઝ નહીં કરી શકો, રાઈટ. દેન અનધર attribute of frame tag is scrolling. Scrolling, right? So scrolling value is either yes, either no, or auto, right? So it specify whether or not to display the scroll bar along with the frame, right? ઘણી વાર તમે મલ્ટિપલ ફ્રેમ્સ એક જ વિન્ડોમાં જો તમે સેટ કરી હોય, રાઈટ, અને એક ફ્રેમમાં બહુ બધા કન્ટેન્ટ વધારે હોય, so you require the scrolling, right? So apply the attribute scrolling with the use of frame tag for that particular frame, right? And if you give value yes, so it will uh, apply the scrolling facility within that frame. If you write down here no, so no scrolling, otherwise auto, right? So if your content is more than the frame width, right, then it will directly appear the scrolling within that particular frame if you write down auto here, right? If no needed for scrolling, then it will not display the scrolling bar, right? And src જે આપણે already જોયું, that is used to specify the name of the document to be displayed within the frame. કયું document તમારે એ ફ્રેમમાં ડિસ્પ્લે કરવું છે, that is with the use of src attribute you can specify, right? અને એની વેલ્યુ શું હશે, any url which you want to open within that particular frame, right? Now we create one html script for frame, right? So create main html document which will display three html documents in three vertical frames. Right? શું કરવાનું છે ખબર પડી? We have to create one main HTML document which display three vertical frames in that main document, right? અને જે three frames છે એ ત્રણે ત્રણ ફ્રેમમાં અલગ અલગ HTML document ઓપન થવા જોઈએ. Getting?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So first HTML head, body, right? Then આપણે પહેલા ત્રણ HTML ડોક્યુમેન્ટ બનાવીએ છીએ જે આપણે ફ્રેમ ટેગમાં પાસ કરશું, રાઈટ? કે જે મારે ત્રણ ફ્રેમમાં ઓપન કરવાના છે એ ત્રણ HTML ડોક્યુમેન્ટ આપણે પહેલા બનાવી દઈએ. સો સપોઝ ધીસ ઇઝ યોર one.html, right? So HTML head body એમાં આપણે લખીએ ABC માનો, right? Body over right? So this is your one.html. Now second HTML document બનાવો same way, right? એમાં માનો કે તમે કોઈક ઇમેજ ઓપન કરી દો, right? or કઈ પણ ટેક્સ્ટ લખવું હોય તો ટેક્સ્ટ કે કશું પણ, right? and same way create 3.html, right? Save these three files in the same folder, right? Now next part is main.html. રાઈટ, હવે આમાં આપણે શું કરવાનું છે? We have to create 3 vertical frames, right? And a 3 vertical frames માં કયા કયા URL પાસ કરવાના છે? ફર્સ્ટ ફ્રેમમાં 1.html, સેકન્ડ ફ્રેમમાં 2.html અને થર્ડ ફ્રેમમાં 3.html, right? So in 1.html start html tag, right? Now frame set શું કરે છે? Frame set tag divide your window into number of frames, right? આપણે જે frame set tag જોયો first, right? It will divide your window, browser window into number of frames, right? So whenever you want to create frames, right, no need to write down body tag, right? You can directly use the frame set tag. Frame set. Now here we want to divide our browser window into total how many vertical frames?
3.
3, right? And to create a vertical frames, which attribute of frame set is used?
Columns.
Columns, right? Cols equals to, write down percentage of 3 frames, right? So suppose we write down 30% for first frame, right? Then 30 for second frame and remaining for third frame. Getting? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now our vertical frames are created, right? Now next task is open the desired web page into that particular frames, right? So for that, which tag is used? I want to display desired web page into frame 1, frame 2 and frame 3, which I already created, right? So which tag is used?
Frame SRC.
Frame. Tag is frame, right? And attribute is SRC, right? Frame SRC, then write down the URL which you want to open in first frame, right? I want to open 1.html in, or sorry, I want to display 1.html into frame 1. So write down in double quotes URL of that particular page, right? Same way for frame 2 and frame 3. Frame SRC is equals to, in double quotes, write down URL for page you want to display in second frame, then same way for third frame, that is 3.html, right? Now 3 frame નું થઈ ગયું, right? Here you can use other attributes also, that is scrolling and name, right? Frame border, you can use any attribute which you want to display on the particular frame, right? Currently we are using this only one attribute, that is SRC, right? Now after this, which tag is over? Frame set, because 3 frame બની ગઈ, એની અંદર content પણ થઈ ગયા. Now frame set tag is over, right? And HTML over. Getting?
Yes.
Right? So
Yes, ma'am.
this is about the frames in HTML, right? Now suppose I want to display the scroll bars, right? So કયો attribute અહીં add કરવો પડશે મારે? Scrolling, right? Scrolling is equals to, suppose, auto, right? So if in this frame, if scrolling is required, then it will automatically display, right? If it is not required, then it will not display the scrolling. Likewise, you can apply the scrolling attribute with the other 2 frames also. Right, so this is about the frame tag in HTML, right? Now all of you write down one HTML script that has two frames, right? And left frame display the one.html and right frame display
USB inserted.
2.html, right? Where second frame is the target of target link of the first frame. હવે ખબર શું કરવાનું છે? You have to create two frames. Left frame display the one.html and right frame display the two.html. It means you have to create vertical frames or horizontal frames.
Vertical.
Vertical frame, right? Where second frame is the target link of the first frame. એનો મતલબ શું થાય?
फर्स्ट लिंक पर क्लिक करे तो सेकंड और खुलो જોઈએ.
હા, બરાબર, રાઈટ? સો આ જે HTML સ્ક્રિપ્ટ તમને આપી છે that you have to try it by yourself, right? અને જ્યારે આપણો લેબ સેશન હશે ત્યારે હું જોઈશ આ, બરાબર, કે તમારું આઉટપુટ કરેક્ટ આવે છે કે નથી આવતું. Now you know how to use the frame set and how to use the frame tag, right? So this is about the frames in HTML, right? From next lecture, we'll start with the form tags, how to create the static form using the HTML, right? કોઈને ડાઉટ છે હાઇપરલિંક કે ફ્રેમમાં?
No, ma'am.
આ ફ્રેમ સેટ નું લખી લીધું બધાએ કે બાકી છે? થઈ ગયું છે? ઓકે. Right, so all of you try this practical by your own, right? We will discuss this practical in the lab session.